Hello, and thanks for joining us. We are here to present the 33rd Annual Chief Award, Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. The Chief Award is voted on by the Pro Football Writers Pittsburgh chapter for members of the organization who best exemplifies cooperation with the media. It's been quite a trying year for all of us here when we're performing our jobs, and us sports writers are no exception. I think we're a little bit too familiar with these Zoom calls, and hopefully we won't have to do that much longer. But Ben was always gracious with his time, talking to us before and after games during the week, and always gave us something to write about. We greatly appreciate that. I almost think, Ben, that you missed us last year, not being able to talk to us for about a couple months. I'm sure that's part of it. But we appreciate the cooperation, and congratulations on joining guys like Jerome Bettis, Lee Flowers, Alan Faneca, Ferrier, and Hayward as multiple-time winners. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mark, and to everyone in the media. And it has definitely been a trying year for not just players, but for you guys as well. So thanks for making it work as much as anything for everyone out there. And I can honestly say, and I know you guys might not believe me, I kind of miss the face-to-face interaction with you guys at times. It's nice to actually have some dialogue and conversation, see your guys' reactions to some of my crazy answers. To not have that this year has been different, but thank you so much for this award. It means a lot.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions now. Jerry Dulac, go ahead.
Ben, congratulations. Hey, are you glad not to be playing, and how much will you or do you need to work or help out Mason this week?
Well, thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. I'll be here for Mason, for Josh, whoever it may be, kind of like last year. That's the approach I'm going to take. I never want to step on toes, but I want to be available to questions, to help, to my input with Coach Randy, with Coach Canada, whatever it may be. So I've already talked to Mason about that. And so that's going to be my role this week is to really try and do everything I can to be there to answer questions or be a help to them to get them prepared for this game.
Dale Lawley.
Jerry wanted to know if you're glad not to be playing, first of all. He was trying to follow up on that. He's right behind me here. But also, in terms of this season, I know there were a lot of questions about, can Ben come out and play a full season, or he's coming off the elbow surgery. Going into this week, you're leading the league in pass attempts. Does your body feel like it? Do you feel like your body rebounded the way you felt it would?
I'm sorry, Jerry. I am excited to get a little bit of rest this week. I'll go back to that. I feel good. I really do. I know that there's been so many crazy reports from some of the national people out there about my knees and how I feel and this, that, and the other. But truly, it's those are just arthritis. That's old age. It's my elbow where I had surgery feels really good, and I'm excited to see. Since we're, a little over a year out of surgery, like how is it going to keep feeling, as we move forward? And I don't feel like there's been any letdown in terms of how it feels. So I think the doctors and rehab and everybody, did a great job. I'm very thankful to them for it.
Joe Rudder.
Yeah, Ben, will you do any kind of on-field work this week? And will you pay any more attention film-wise to Cleveland, since there is a chance you'll play them again in 2 weeks?
That's the unique thing about this week, right? We don't know who we're going to play. Obviously, it could be Cleveland. I mean, there's a group of teams it could be. So do you go watch film on every single team, or do you wait till the weekend? That's kind of the million-dollar question. A couple of the options, obviously, we know well: Cleveland, Baltimore. I'm not even sure who else it could be. But it's kind of one of those things that, in terms of on-the-field work this week, I may do some stuff on Friday, very little, because I don't want to obviously I can't take reps away from Mason and Josh and Duck, whoever's going to be taking the reps. So it might just be more, during special teams, maybe grabbing some of the guys and going through some stuff on another field or throwing a little bit. But to me, this is going to be a really good mental and physical rest couple days.
Jeff Hathorn.
Ben, congratulations. What is your advice to Mason about the opportunity that he has and how to deal with what happened the last time he was up there?
Yeah, I mean, he needs to there's a couple ways you go about it, right? You could put it behind you and treat it like a typical quarterback that has to have short-term memory and just go out there and be like, whatever happened last year, there's going to be a lot of hoopla made about it. Just put it out of your mind and go focus on this year, this game, this team. Or you can go take it as motivation that you want to go out and, put it on them, whatever you want to say, help them win the football game. So it's really each man individually has to decide how he wants to approach it. I know from talking to Mason and knowing Mason that he wants to go out and win this football game, and he's going to do everything he can to do that for this team. And so this is an awesome opportunity for him to get out and show what he can do.
Brooke Pryor.
Yeah, Ben, kind of going off that, you've now had another year to watch Mason develop. How big of a stride or leap has he taken this year? We obviously haven't gotten to see him during games, but what have you observed in practice and in meetings?
Yeah, I think he's gotten, better. He has gotten better every year in terms of understanding and knowing the offense, reads, throws. I mean, he's physically gifted. We know that. He's smart. And so, he can make all the throws and do things. But even ways that I've seen it are in game. A lot of times, obviously, during like the time, like the TV timeout or whenever I'm kind of like that little huddle on the sideline, that's a time that kind of input is coming from Coach Randy, from Coach Canada, from Josh Dobbs. It's happened in the past with Bruce Gradkowski and Charlie and Byron. And Mason has gotten to the point, especially in the last few weeks, where he is chiming in of thoughts and plays that, hey, Ben, what about this? Or what about this? And I think that shows growth and maturity of a guy that understands the offense and kind of what we're trying to do on a week-to-week basis. So I think that's been really, really good.
Mike Pursuta.
Ben, Juju Smith-Schuster said after the game that the Colts were calling out your plays in the first half and that you basically scrapped the game plan in the second half and kind of made it up as you went along. Mike Tomlin talked a little bit about some of that being a factor of empty stadiums and the quiet. To what degree have you noticed that going on this year? Was it a big factor in the Colts game as Juju allowed? And is that something that you've had to deal with because of the circumstances of this year throughout the year?
Mike, are you suggesting that we drew plays in the dirt?
I'm not. He was.
Okay, good.
I'm just telling you what he said because I know you don't pay any attention to the media.
I do, but no, honestly, there's a lot to be said about the noise level, the quietness of it, because you can hear so much on, for instance, Deontay's touchdown. They were yelling slant, slant, slant. Like their sideline was to my right by where Deontay was. They were yelling slant, slant, slant. And the way the coverage that they gave us, actually, we should have run a slant. And I almost changed the play, but I didn't because they were yelling it. And I heard them. Deontay heard them. Their DB heard them. So I was like, good. We want them to think we're running a slant because we're running a fade. Like this could end up working really well. So I think it can hurt and help if that kind of makes sense. But yeah, there's absolutely times in games where you hear a defender say, "Hey, watch this," and you're like, "Man, that's what we call." Now, some of that's dumb luck. Some of it maybe is tendencies. We can hear stuff that they talk about. It is one of the most unique years when it comes to strategy, when it comes to trying to trick people. Like sometimes you even are trying to do dummy signals and saying dummy things just to make things happen. So or to trick the other team. So there are times in that first half that they were, calling things out. But once again, are they getting lucky or do they know something? It's hard to tell,
Aditi Kinkabala.
Ben, for so many weeks now, we keep asking you what's not working, and you keep saying, well, if I knew, I would fix it. Very clearly in the second half Sunday, things were working phenomenally well. Now, how do you, one, make sure that a week off, you don't lose the rhythm of that, you don't keep that momentum going? And two, tell us what was working so well. It couldn't have just been a halftime speech that all of a sudden everything was clicking.
Yeah, I think that's always the first part of your question. You worry about how do you break that rhythm of what you had in the second half. And that's why I think what we'll have to do is kind of the question I answered earlier, try and grab some guys here and there without disrupting the flow of what's going on. Because what I don't want to have happen is say, hey guys, let's go over here and work on stuff for the playoffs because we have a game. Like guys have to focus, and that would be unfair to Mason and to the guys that are playing this week. So there's a fine line to walk on doing that, but you still have to try and stay sharp. And I'll do my best to try and stay mentally sharp by watching some film, watching previous games of ours and things like that. Talking with Coach Canada and things like that. And I think in terms of kind of what went right in the second half is, guys we just made plays, and go. I know people talk about going down the field and opening up the field a little bit, stretching things. That helps for sure. I also think there's something to when we're going no huddle and I'm telling a guy like, hey, here's what I want you to do this. Like there's just a little bit more engagement. Maybe it's more engagement from me too. Guys don't want to let you down when you call a play for them. They're like, okay, I'm ready for it. Or so, something about, I don't know, but maybe there's something to that guys just, when we know we're going no huddle, you kind of see this energy come to guys. And so I think it bled into the extra effort and making plays.
Jenna Harner.
Ben, I know it's probably a little bit of, still developing news and all that, but with the Browns closing their facility today, it doesn't not entirely, I guess, seem like it's a crazy outbreak, but is there some sort of sense among you guys of, oh gosh, here we go again, even though you're not playing this week?
I didn't even know that till you just broke the news to me. So I was unaware of that. I really hope that I don't know what the options would be if it is an outbreak of postponing. I don't know what in the world would be options. So I don't even want to speculate of what could or will or should happen. So sorry.
Jim Coley.
Yeah, Ben, since congrats on the award, by the way. And we know it's not total improvisation on your part, yet at the same time, there's a lot of veteran stuff that goes into that. How capable is Mason right now, if things aren't going quite right, to make at least some of the changes similar to what you were able to make last week?
Well, yeah, he knows the no huddle package. I mean, we've had it for a while since he's been here. He knows that there's some changes that we've made, but he's aware of it. So if we need to go to that mode, he's not going to. He doesn't see the game the same way I do. I don't see the game the same way he does. No quarterback sees the game the same way as another quarterback, obviously. So he's going to, if it comes down to running the no huddle and him calling plays that he sees, then it might look similar to what I do, but it might look completely different too. He might have a group of plays that he really likes that are completely different than mine. So I'm sure if it comes to that, he knows it well enough that he could make it happen for sure.
Anthony Jaskolski.
Ben, congratulations.
Thank you.
Even though you have Mason under center, just how important for Sunday is it to finally see this team score in the first quarter to actually get points on the board, seeing that it's been such a struggle over the last 6 weeks to do that?
Right. Yeah, it would be awesome. If we go out and put on an offensive performance that we're happy with. And I think, obviously one of the big things is everyone staying healthy. But to go out and kind of keep the momentum going would be really big for us.
Mark Caboli.
Hey, Ben, Randy's been taking some criticism for his play calls recently. In your opinion, how has he progressed over the past 3 years in that particular aspect of his game?
Yeah, I saw that he has taken a little bit, and he shouldn't be. The players he calls the plays. We have to execute them. And in the second half, it's not just me. He's telling me stuff in my ear. We're talking to the sideline, so he should get as much, and if not more, I think more credit than me or anyone else for the second half performance, because he's the one that's really kind of given us the insight and the direction and keeping it moving. So to me, what I see with Coach Randy's growth is just understanding where our strengths and weaknesses are, and really, like I said, it boils down to us needing to make the plays, not the play calling.
Few more. Will Graves.
Ben, the last time you guys were in this situation was in 2017. You didn't play that last week. You had an extra week off, and then the offense wasn't very good in the start of that Jacksonville game. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you can take from that experience and apply to this time around? And secondly, because I'm not sure anybody asked you, just Chase is the rookie of the year, and just could you talk about his development? And then later in the season. Anyway, so the first part, what'd you learn from 2017? Yeah,
I mean, the thing is having I had 2 weeks off that right, like the bye week, and only having 1 week off is a big difference. Having 2 weeks off is good on you. It makes your body feel good, but you can get a little bit rusty, if you will, or, you need to get into the flow. So only having 1 week will be just fine. I don't foresee that being an issue. I think if anything, it'll actually be good to physically get myself kind of recovered and back at it. And your second part was about Chase. I'm sorry.
He won the Rookie of the Year for the team.
For the NFL, good for him. Well, I'm not sure who else was a candidate for it. And that's no offense to anyone else, but what Chase did, I mean, for a while there, Chase was, in my opinion, should have been considered Rookie of the Year in the NFL too. And I always tell him, I think he can be as good as he wants to be. And I think only the surface has been scratched with the talent and the ability of that guy. So I'm excited to see what hopefully he can bring in the postseason. It's always hard for young guys to play for such a long season. Now the off season was a little different, obviously, so I don't know how much that'll change, but I'm excited to see what he can bring in the postseason.
Two more, Jerry Dulac.
Ben, do you think any more veterans should get rested on Sunday, and any suggestions of who maybe that should be?
That's over my pay grade, Jerry. That's going to obviously be coach's decision. And like I said, obviously we want to win this game, but we got to make sure that hopefully we get out healthy. Coach will obviously decide who else is not going to play, and that's strictly on him. I just want guys to be healthy.
Final one, Aditi, go ahead.
And now you make me want to laugh, so I'll ask you, but I do have a fairly serious one. We joked early in the season when you took the week off that you were going to go to Mike Tomlin and say, hey, maybe I don't need to practice. This time around, did he just come to you and say, this is the plan, or was this a mutual conversation where you both agreed you shouldn't play? And then the second, a little bit more serious, will you watch the game any differently, knowing that you may see Cleveland the very next week? Will you participate any differently?
Right. He came to me and told me that I'm not playing.
Okay.
As soon as the last game was over. And so that was and I knew that was the end of discussion. There was no point in trying to argue with him or say anything. And then in terms of watching it, I'll do what I always do. Just watch it with a critical eye. Once again, it's one of those things where you want to help Mason and help our offense as much as you can, but you're also watching the defense. And so if I can pick up on something or hear something, then I'll do everything I can to help win this game, but also in case we have to see him again soon.